Four parents, 9 kids, 2 houses. Didn't really wanna talk about this. Four parents, 9 kids, I'm queer. One thing's clear, there's no dysfunction here. Four parents, 9 kids, 2 houses. Didn't really wanna talk about this. Four parents, 9 kids, I'm queer. One thing's clear, there's no dysfunction here.
Dave, hand me a beer.
Oh, hi!
Hello!
Welcome.
We got another person on this couch.
Yes, we do.
Woohoo!
I mean, they count as two.
No.
Where did he come
Magic.
Welcome to episode 31.
from?
Wow.
Yes!
We have a special guest, Robert. He's the mayor of our little town here.
Yes! Mayor Roberts!
I knew I was that important.
But we are here to talk about the sexuality of our children and quote unquote coming out, which has been our goal with our parenting. To have a household where coming out isn't really even a thing. Like love is love, and who we date is who we date, and who we fall in love with is who we fall in love with. So, if the title's not coming out, then what is the title? Anybody want to chime in on that?
Yeah, what should the title be instead of coming out? Because we don't want our kids to come out.
Love is love.
Love is love.
Yeah, love is love.
Celebrate who you are.
Yes.
Totally.
June, which is also Pride Month.
That's good.
Yes.
Celebrate who I is for Riz.
Yeah. Capital Riz.
Yeah.
We just got back from Vegas. That was freaking exciting.
For some Coldplay.
That was
21st
great.
birthday for one of our daughters, my bonus daughter, Reagan. Super
Yes.
fun. Oh
We
my
had a
goodness.
great time.
It was a good weekend.
I never thought I would find myself in a haunted escape room being chased by killer clowns.
Pennywise.
But that happened. That was so fun. Honestly, I loved it
Yeah,
a
that was
lot.
good.
It was really
I
good
think
fun.
you appeared to like you were going to be scared when we were talking about it. You're like, oh. But like Reagan and I were like burying our faces in each other's like backs. Like,
I literally at
I
a
was
few
frightened.
points, I was like, Reagan, do you want us to say stop? Should we say blink twice? Like, I don't want you to. She was so scared. I'm like, I didn't know if I should be protecting
Yes.
her or if this
She
was
got her
part of
money's
the
worth.
fun.
She was just doing it because Pennywise told her to.
Oh, it was hilarious.
I like it.
It was really fun though.
But it was a great time. Weather was beautiful.
I
Yeah.
think eventually I just realized, like, Pennywise probably isn't allowed to touch me.
That
But when
is
I walked,
true.
when
I
we
think I'm
walked
gonna be
through
okay.
that thing,
That's a
he
good
grabbed
point.
my arm. I was like,
You
what?
did?
Yeah, when
Oh,
we
really?
walked through that little like.
Oh yeah, they like the reach out. Oh.
That's right. When
Like you
I
say,
was
right.
10 years old, I went through, I think, my first haunted house, and someone grabbed my leg, and I kicked him super hard right in the face. He was lying down. He was like a mummy lying down, and he grabbed my, and I just out of instinct was like, ah! Yeah. And he's like, oh, shit. I don't know.
He never grabbed
I
anyone
thought
else
they
again.
weren't allowed to touch you.
Same.
When I was a kid, they
Been living in
did.
a home ever since. Just tells the same story over and over again. To the
On
wall.
repeat.
Damn it.
When I was a kid at Mapleton Elementary School, they did like a haunted basement situation because there was a basement in it, and I just showed up like I was part of like the whole festivities. Like my family went. They did like there was like a cakewalk and all the other Halloween activities, all that shit, and someone just was like, "Hey, there's a haunted thing. I need you to get in here and scare people." And they go by. And I was like 9. I'm like, okay. But like, I was so scared of scaring people that like I just like hid in the thing the whole time. Like I think I tried one time to jump out and scare people, and they laughed at me, and I was like, I'm not coming out ever again.
That is so funny. I never knew he was in a haunted house.
Speaking of in the closet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was,
Yes.
except it was a barrel.
I think he's still not out. I
It
think
was a
he's stuck in
barrel.
that closet still.
Yeah,
That's
my
okay.
that
Take your
barrel.
time.
Yes,
my
take
pride
your time.
and my sexuality are still trapped in that barrel. in Mapleton, Utah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's
Oh
all right.
my God.
I'll pull through.
Yeah, I was in a haunted house once. Do you remember when we did a haunted house at Andrea's house and I was the girl from It, Samara? And then it seems like, weren't you Samara as well from It? For The Ring.
The Ring.
Yeah.
So
From
the one
Halloween.
that crawls out of the TV.
Yes. It was pretty impressive what we did. We had the people, we made a haunted house out of my sister's house. And at the very end, you know how it's like static on the TV on the ring, and then she like appears or something. So they are facing a staticky TV, and as they go to leave, I open the closet, and I'm there as Samara staring at them,
That's
and
great.
it actually scared the shit out of quite a few people.
Wow.
That's a good
That was
one.
really fun.
I'm never going to that house. Just kidding. Well, yay. I'm glad.
We love those little
that's
lulls
our
of like,
weekend.
that's our podcast.
Yep.
Big gulps, huh? Well,
Yeah, see you later.
That line's improvised.
Is that for a joke? Spin the wheel.
Oh,
Spin
okay.
the
I
wheel.
got it. I didn't.
Spin
I'm not
the
skirt.
wheel. We're not skirt.
Hey.
Point the wheel to
let
the
see.
see.
Bum. Who's it on? Somebody tell me.
Tiff!
Tiff!
Whoop, whoop, whoop,
Well
whoop,
done.
whoop.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
What?
sounds scripted.
Yeah. What happens when the smog lifts in Southern California?
Smog lifts.
Smog
California.
lifts.
Because like it's super polluted. Smog.
Clear, free. I'm trying to think of a play on words.
Better not be anything about ice or government or the Marines.
Too much today.
I think this
Too
was made in
soon.
2022.
UCLA.
I like it.
Okay.
And there's soldiers everywhere.
UCLA, and it's being raided. That's not funny.
No.
Prayers,
I can't
prayers.
believe you guys brought that up.
Oh my.
Unbelievable. Awkward.
Sorry.
What's life?
I
It's
thought
a
it was
lighthearted show, everybody.
It's pretty good.
That was really good and triggering. Just kidding.
I'm gonna go home now and rock in the corner.
Just rock. Like
Hang
that
out-
girl in
hang
the
out with-
haunted house in the haunted escape
Yes.
room.
Ugh.
Just kidding.
All right.
Wow,
Well,
that was
I
great.
can't wait anymore.
let's
I have
get
to
to it.
know. I want to know.
Maybe they can cancel us all at once. is
Yeah,
what
we'll
he
find
said.
out.
Shit.
I'm giving it my best effort. I'll tell you that right now.
Focus.
I want to hear from our guests. I
Yes.
want to hear. I mean, I guess we don't have time to go down the minute for minute story of your life, but I want to hear the 3-minute synopsis of your journey to this couch.
Oh, I love that.
Well, see, I took a left turn off of this
First
sidewalk over
mistake.
here.
First mistake. There's traffic.
Oh, trust me, I already went through that. That was fun, especially from downtown. Well, let's see here. So I'll say for me, for my coming out, it took a long time for me. I was still questioning a lot of things for myself, and I had a lot of questions, and this is early 2000s, 2005, 2007. I'm still questioning a lot of things, and it took me a long time to finally be like, okay, maybe at first I thought I was bisexual. And I was like, okay, yeah, because I want to have a family, with a woman and everything, but I do like, having fun and being with a guy. And I thought, all right, that's how I am. And I started talking it more and more, and that's when I actually started officially coming out. I was about 27 when I officially was like, you know what, I'm going to start coming out to family. And in fact, the first one I told was my youngest brother. And so he was just 18, just graduated high school. I was like, you know what, it's time. He's the only brother that's right here with me. I'll go with him first. And so, yeah, I said, hey, I just needed to tell you guys, I need to talk to you about it. And I told him how I'm bisexual, but I'm still trying to figure myself out. And he was really cool about it. I mean, you guys know him already. He's like, hey, just be you. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, well, like 2 minutes later, after I got done talking to him, he texted my other brother. You're not going to believe what just happened.
Oh,
Right.
But I will say this, I actually don't blame him. We have a brother code that
sure.
if one knows something that is really big, you need to let the other one know ahead of time.
I see.
So I don't blame him for it. So then I came out to my other brother, and I came out to my aunts. Then for me, I think the hardest one that I was actually scared for was coming out to my parents. And even being 27 years old, I was scared. and I knew they were accepting of family members because we have family members that are lesbian, that are gay, and that they are trans and everything, and they were very accepting. I just didn't know how they would treat me.
Right.
So I was completely nervous, like shaking to my boots. And then when I did come out, and I even told them like, yeah, I am bisexual, and I did talk to my brothers, I talked to my aunts, and to me this is funny, and I know to a lot of people they would find it funny, but to me it's still hilarious. My mom looks at me and goes, Roberto, I love you no matter what. I don't care who you like or anything. But how come you didn't come to me first?
The mom's
she's
insulted.
she's like, I thought we were open about that. I thought we were open. I'm like, I know. I was scared. She's like, well, shoot. I'm open with everything. You need to talk to me. My dad was like, all right, we already knew. And that's when I was like, wait, what do you mean you already knew? And he goes, Robert, I love you, but you're not bi. And that's when I actually started questioning, am I actually gay? Because he's the one that told me, like, you're gay. I'm like, no, I'm not. And it actually wasn't until a few years later, which, as you guys know, when my dad had passed, we were looking over our family videos and sitting and everything, and we're watching the home videos, and there I am, just, oh my God, guys, what's going on? Like, oh my God. And then I'm just like, wait a minute. And then there's me, I think there's one video of me dancing to Backstreet Boys. And I'm like going all for it because my aunt taught me the steps. So I'm going for it. I'm all like, okay, maybe he had a good reason for thinking that.
Wasn't as sly as I
No, I was not as sly as I
Nailed
thought
that
it was.
choreography.
Oh, I still know it.
Yes.
But yeah, that was my journey. And then after that, I've anytime any family member was like, hey, I feel like my child's like this. What do I do? I'm like, hey, just be patient. Just let them know that you're there for them, but also don't treat them any different. Because that was the one thing that I loved that my parents did. They didn't give me any special treatment. They didn't be like, oh, stop everything. The world needs to appease to this.
Yeah.
They were all like, you know what? No, you're still the same person.
I love
I
that.
will still treat you the same way.
I love that.
Oh yeah, that's their biggest things, that we will always treat you the same way no matter what. You're still the little bugger that keeps bugging us every morning about what's left for dinner or anything like that.
Totally.
Or
Wow.
just what's going to be on TV. Dad, let's go watch this show right now. So
Can I ask you a question?
sure.
What made you so scared to oh, sorry, I'm hitting my mic. What made you so scared to tell your parents, even though they were loving and they were a safe space? And how can our listeners prevent their children from having to wait 27 years and to feel that trepidation? What your mom did not want you to feel scared. She thought she was creating a safe space.
Right.
I think a lot of us think we're creating a safe space, and then our children are still scared. So what would you say to that, and why were you scared?
So for me, there wasn't a lot of laws that were passed, just like recently, where it was, gay people had the right to be married or anything like that. There wasn't a lot of that out there, so I was scared to come out. And to me, it felt like I was disappointing my family. And that was a big thing to me, because for me, family is super important and you don't want to disappoint them. And so I felt like I was disappointing them. And that was the one thing about my parents, is that they just always made me feel like they were open to everything. Granted, I didn't see this because this is just me. I'm an overthinker. And no matter what anyone will tell me, I'm a million miles that way. You have to catch up to me. So, but if anything I could tell people is just always make sure you're open to talking to them. Just be there and say, hey, you have questions about it,
Give me a
well,
give
you
me a
know,
chance.
I'm always be here to help you. Like, if I don't know, let's find out together. You know, and because that's one thing my mom does too. Is she tries to, even now, when something's going on, she asks questions. She asks me questions, and I'm like, she's like, hey, how do you feel about this? What do we do about this? And if I don't know, we go find out together.
It's amazing.
So if anything, I always just say like, just be open, but don't pressure. You know, that's because coming out is still a hard thing. To some people, it's like, oh, just you be who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. It's a whole lot more than that, because it's more of accepting what other people are going to say, accepting what you're thinking, and then accepting what you're feeling. It's a whole different
So much.
feeling from there.
I love that you expressed that, because I had this thought thinking about this podcast episode and now listening to your story. Like, for us, and this is probably similar for all of us, but maybe different, growing up in that area of the 90s, like, there was so much pressure and put on the idea of, like, telling people, like, the coming out aspect of it. And it does feel like that's changed a little bit over time, even though it's not always the case for a lot of people. It seems like acceptance has grown, and, you know, just generally. And I think about people that came out in the 90s, and it seems like you almost had to have your own confidence. Like, you really had to have it figured out first to, like, get to a place where you could express it to other people. And it's maybe not necessarily the case now. And so, like, I guess, because you just touched on a little bit, my question would be, like, what the aspect of, like, having to come to terms with yourself. This is who I am. This is how I am. Even though a lot of people think that's different or weird or bad or however they might feel about it. How did you personally get to a place where you're like, I feel great about who I am, and I accept who I am, and I love who I am?
Honestly, it was a lot of media. There was, I mean, again, I'm a '90s baby. Grew up in the '90s, so media was all over the place for us. Granted, yes, I grew up, you know, playing out in the street, or, you know, on the street and everything. But, you know, being from the '90s and then early 2000s, a lot of media came out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you do hear the bad things, but for me, I grew up seeing a lot of positive. There was a lot of positive behind it. And no, like, not a single person was using it in a bad way. And it wasn't until there was a show that came out that I was watching, and that's when I was watching this character, and I was like, he's just kind of like how I am, you know, still questioning things, not understanding or anything like that, but I kind of related to it, and that was the biggest thing for me now. And even nowadays, media is like the whole big thing, and I've seen a lot of media now where they've done it in such a great way. There's one show that I saw recently. They did something amazing. They had one of their characters come out as bisexual. You probably know the show 911.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one of my favorite all-time shows. Love it. There's a character that comes out as bisexual. Spoilers, just in case. But he comes out and comes to terms with it because he's trying to figure himself out. And the way they did it, it was like, that's exactly what it's almost like what every person goes through.
Wow.
You know. And of course, I mean, everyone has their own journeys and everything like that. I mean, shoot, there are probably 10-year-olds that are like, I know who I am right now. Great, fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, you could be in your 30s and still not know who you are.
And it's important I know it goes without saying, but there are, you know, it might be getting easier among the white population, you know, to come out, but we have a long way to go. It's like 40% or 45% of countries on this earth, it's still illegal to be gay, you know, and even within other cultures and communities within our country, it is still extremely unaccepted, you know.
Oh, so. It was really, and I think that was another part of me that was struggling a lot, because I grew up Hispanic and in an Italian culture. Mm-hmm. Both sides very, very family oriented.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So while even though they're accepting, you can see sometimes that those who are kind of like just brushed to the side. I have a cousin, Renee, who I haven't been able to see in a while because he went off and did his own thing, but I've rarely hear from him. So, which I've made I made my own determination. Like, yeah, no one's gonna be pushing me under this.
It's great.
Under the rug or anything. I'm too big to cover. To cover.
That's
So.
right,
Love
Robert.
And I think what your answer I didn't expect, and I love it because it really opens a conversation about the importance of representation in media and how
Yeah.
it seems like now versus even 10 years ago, it's almost like there's some regression in that. There's pushback to like, no, we don't want that, or no, that's not right, or whatever, where it was like maybe more open 10 to 15 years ago. And I think the more vocal everyone is about the importance of that and why it matters, it's great. I didn't think about that angle, but representation and seeing like, oh,
Models.
this is me and it's okay to be me,
Yeah.
like is so important because you're born a whatever it is, like some like if you're more privileged based off of class, gender, color, whatever it is, you don't necessarily process what you're seeing as validation. You just have validation all around you all the time, and so it makes you feel okay, I'm what I'm supposed to be. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So the importance of representation, I think, is great.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Big.
just even seeing like things that have happened in history with media and everything. When growing up as a kid, I was very, very big. Me and my brothers both. I mean, you guys probably know, but we were very big into the Power Rangers. Super
I didn't
big.
know that.
Oh, please!
Which
I have
one
it.
did you
I'm
want to be?
right there, the blue Power Ranger.
I love it.
Yes.
Ooh, my brother
But
was
this
really
is
into
also
Power
why
Rangers.
the blue Power Ranger is very special. So the actor himself actually came out
Oh
I remember
my
that.
as
gosh.
gay.
I remember
Wow,
that.
how great
So-
back then.
But here's the issue. I will say he actually went through the worst of it.
Oh my goodness.
He had to. I almost don't want to say because it's one of those things that I've felt uncomfortable with. But he had to go through some things, and it did not mentally help him at all.
Yeah.
Darn it.
But it was a few years to where he got to a place where he's like, you know what, I can finally accept him. He can finally accept himself, and that's where it was just like I was saying, being in your 30s and finally figuring yourself out. Because I think it was when he was in his 30s where he was like, you know what, this is how I am.
Yeah.
And I got to meet him. Super amazing, nice guy.
That's so cool.
It was amazing.
Oh my
meeting
god,
him.
that's so cool that you got to meet him. I feel like he probably, I hope he knows, but he probably doesn't know the scope of what he did as a Power Ranger. He thinks this character is inspiring to kids, but it's really what he's doing in his real life.
Yeah.
As a public figure, being brave in that way that affects you. That's so beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's so amazing. I love the actor. His name is David Yoist.
David Yoist! David
So-
Yoist!
Spoiler, he's on the podcast next week.
Okay, I'm showing up again.
Yes!
Brandon,
So-
what about religion with your family? Like you brought up Hispanic and you brought up Italian, which I'm not saying every Hispanic and every Italian is Catholic, but
Oh, you hit
There's
the nail
got-
on the dot.
there's Catholics in your family.
Oh,
and like I know that you said your immediate family was all very accepting. Do you have anybody in your extended family that's scrutinizing you?
As
Or-
of right now, I don't think I do.
Fantastic.
That's amazing.
But then again, I will say uncertainly for one side, I really don't talk to them much,
Right.
so I don't know. And even if they do, I'm too sassy enough to even respond back. So.
That's right.
But for my for another side of my family, they've been wildly supportive and everything. And I mean, like touching on earlier, like you were talking about being Catholic. Yeah, we grew up in a Catholic household. I was actually an altar boy
Wow.
at one point, and we grew up with I grew up with a priest who was very accepting of everyone. He was just
that's cool.
very loving and very like he opens the world to everyone.
I
So-
love to hear that.
Yeah, so amazing. Such an amazing priest. In fact, we actually had stopped going to church when they moved him to a different pastor in California.
Wow.
So we had a new one come in, and he just became super negative and super.
That ruins everything.
It kind of did. My entire family, we had like 4 or 5 different family members of ours just there at the church, and we're just like, yeah, I think we're done right now. I'm good. I got my fill.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, and that was, well, when it comes to religion, I've always had this belief that we're accepted for who we are, no matter what religion. We're supposed to go through things this way for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Feel
I was made to think this way. You know, what do I do with it from here?
I
like that attitude.
That's really beautiful.
I have a question though, and I'm very grateful for you. I mean, the bravery, like I can't even imagine. You know, it takes a lot to go through and come out to your family, whether they're supportive or not. Mm-hmm. But we might have listeners that their parents are not accepting and they don't want to disappoint and they're scared and they're just hiding so hardcore because they're afraid to come out and what their family is going to do and potentially judge them. So you had a great experience, but what can you offer as far as advice to somebody out there that is so afraid of what the repercussions going to be with their family because they are not supportive?
There will always be someone that is supportive. That's how I've always seen it.
I love that.
There will always be someone. And even if you don't have that, you know, within the LGBT community, there are lots of inner communities within it that you can still build your own family with that. And there's
That's
still a
huge.
lot for it. And I will say this, even with my family, even though they were accepting, they were very accepting of me. We found out that there was someone that was being discriminated against. And it's a very kind of sensitive thing, but they were being abused because of it. And this is where I said, this is a whole, my family, like Agassides thing. So if you're ever in need or anything, you call Agassides because we'll be right there.
Yeah.
What is that? Agassides? What's
Oh, that's my last name.
Okay.
That's my last name. If you call Agassides,
him. He's got your back.
Call
love that.
Robert. All right, this is what's going on. But
We'll link his
this
phone
and
number
this,
down
you'll find
Subscribe.
you'll find me at Rosati's. The
That's
loudest
right.
person,
Find him at Rosati's.
one of the loudest
need a
people
number.
at Rosati's is probably me or my mother.
Yes.
Oh, we
So-
love you.
We love you, Maylene.
It's a really good point, though. Like, we were actually just talking about this today, that, like, you know, there's this culture in life about, like, family is blood and family over everything and all of this stuff, which is beautiful and that's great, that's fine. But, like, if you really look at life and how it works for just about everyone, almost all of your trauma comes from inside of your family too, you know? And I think that instead of always looking at family as like the end-all be-all, I think family is a great guide and great way to learn and figure out in this life that, like, you deserve love, no matter where that comes from. And whether that's someone who birthed you or someone you grew up with as a biological sister, or a neighbor that, like, saved you, you know, like, through hard things you were going through or whatever. Like, family doesn't have to be the people who treat you badly just because you're related to them, you know? It's okay to have boundaries, and all through love. Like, you don't have to be mean, you don't have to be rude. You can, you know, like, you can accept in your life the people who accept you, and that's okay, and you don't have to feel bad about it. And it would be awesome if we all had families all the time and every member of them loved us and treated us well and supported us. But sometimes it's just not the case, and there should be no guilt and shame around having boundaries and finding that chosen family for a lot of people.
The way I've always seen it is your family that you start with is your starting point. That's just like how you were saying. It's where you can learn what to do, what not to do, where you can see yourself, where you can go from there, and then that's where you can actually start building your own family and everything.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I mean that's how I've always seen it.
Love that.
Love it.
Same. I
Love
think
it.
that's important.
It's important, and sometimes it takes the hard way to really learn who are your people and who are not your people. Who wants you to succeed? This is a question I've asked myself recently about my own family. Who wants to see me fail? Quite a few of them. okay, that's good to know, you know,
Mhm.
is what it is. So I just think that somebody who has a situation where they have to confront themselves and say, who am I really and who really loves me? Sometimes it can be a blessing in disguise to really clear out the bullshit.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And if you can see that anyone in your life, like if you know, if it's your family or whoever, if you can see like, okay, maybe the driving force behind why they don't want me to be successful or why they don't want me to be happy is their own safety, their
Sure.
own sense of well-being, because
Fear.
well, if this person can be happy and successful and whatever, doing something completely different that doesn't resonate with me, that I
God
don't feel
told
is
me
right.
is bad.
A lot of the times religion's involved, sure, yeah. But
or even politics.
yes,
Politics,
exactly. It's
culture.
scary for them. It's scary to think like, oh, then maybe I'm wrong, or maybe there's a better way for me, but I don't want to try that, you know? And
And that's where sometimes is you just gotta let them be.
yeah,
Exactly.
let
It's
them-
okay.
yeah,
Let them figure it out on their own of how, because who knows? Maybe they're trying to figure out their feelings
sure.
Exactly.
about it, you
Yeah.
know, and they're just trying to understand what to do from there. Everything they had planned for the future is now to them in rumbles,
Mm-hmm.
And
but
question-
now they're just like, what do I do now? Just sometimes you just gotta let them be.
They gotta
and be like, hey,
process.
It's okay.
I told you how I am, who I am. You know, if you can't accept that right now, that's fine.
It's okay.
Call me when you can.
Totally. It's
So-
not really even about you at that point. It's
Right.
about them.
Right,
at
yeah.
that point.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's where you just gotta just let them be, and then that's where you start building your own road in a way.
Totally.
So
And I just want to say I honor your bravery in doing that for yourself. There are many people who are too afraid to find their own road or to figure all of this out, and they give up or they, stay hiding or whatever. So thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
being a pillar in
Absolutely.
our community of somebody who is proud of who they are, lives their life authentically with love. I just adore you, Robert. Thank you so
I'll
much.
admit, I've always never saw myself as someone who's a pillar or anything like that. I just saw myself as someone being loud. You know.
That's
And
okay.
that's
We're
just-
all loud
And that's my
anyway.
and that's my thing is that I am loud. Sometimes I'm a little obnoxious, and sometimes I will say things that will hurt your feelings. I don't do it on purpose. It's just all in good fun.
Sure.
But that's just who I am. You know.
Good.
And in the words of Lady Gaga, I was born this way.
I love it.
That's right. I love it.
Big
And
fan.
we love you. Thank you so much for being
Yeah, no
here.
problem.
Thank you for
I'm
being
And
very
happy
here.
Pride
Thank you,
Month!
Yeah.
Right.
Happy Pride. I feel like we need a listener question. I think
Oh.
Robert should read a listener
Oh,
question.
should I?
Great
Okie
idea.
Or a joke. Which one
Sometimes
is
they're
it?
so
Yeah.
it might be a joke, it might be a listener question.
And it might be about co-parenting, so
And
have
it's
fun.
Yeah,
probably
can't
about
wait.
co-parenting.
You can give us what you think you would do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
There we
Here we go. Okay. What's the one thing your kid does that makes you think, "Yep, that's totally from my side of the family. I've got 20 billion of those." And I can't even think of one because it's all over the place.
That's fair.
I will say actually recently. So I know you guys were in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, I had my own little fun. I went
yeah.
to the Phoenix Fan Fusion.
Yes.
Fun.
It's so much fun. I actually got to take my mom.
No way, awesome.
So she got to witness me nerd out
That's
Yes.
and everything. And so I was trying to figure out, like, what side of the family do I get the fantasy side? I mean, my dad likes Star Wars. Yeah, my mom never really opened up that much to us. Recently she has, but she's just now starting watching anime, which I
Oh.
mean, yeah,
That's
she
exciting.
even introduced me into some.
Oh,
just
wow.
like,
Wow.
okay, well, if we tell people, I'm the one that introduced. So. But we had a moment that I saw. I'm like, oh my god, it's from mom's side of the family. We were walking down this exhibit hall, and there was a lot of cosplayers. There was one person that had a puppet. It was a big, massive puppet
That's
Wow.
cool.
of Falcor,
Oh
the dragon.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God, how
From
cool.
Never Ending
Never-ending
Story.
story.
But
Oh, I
I mean,
love
he
that
was
guy.
full on like in character and everything.
Wow.
And so I saw it in my mom's eyes. She won't admit it. But I saw the tears starting to come up.
Aw.
Because she loves Falcor. We even had we call it it was a Pomeranian Shih Tzu, or what we call the Pikachu at the time. Who my mom wanted to name him Falcor.
Oh, cute.
But my dad's like, oh, that's just too hard for the kids to see. And my mom goes, okay, fine, Gizmo.
Gizmo.
So, but I saw that reaction to him, and I'm just like, that's where I got it from.
That's so cool.
it.
That's where I got it from. That's where I get my emotional side. That's where I get the fantasy loving side. That's where I want to pet every pet. That comes from mom.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you dress up?
I did not this year. I actually had a full costume planned out, but I decided not to. I did have a friend of mine dress up.
Nice.
He dressed up as Fred from Scooby Doo.
Oh,
And
that's
he
great.
did a great job
Oh,
with
that's
him.
fun.
Wig, like whole suit, everything.
That's
he did
awesome.
amazing with him.
Well, next time I want to see your
Yes.
Actually, I
Next
think you guys
cosplay.
have already seen it.
Oh.
Probably.
It was my Bowser costume
Oh, that does sound familiar,
Was it
actually.
for Halloween.
Was it Rosati's Halloween?
Yes,
Halloween.
yes,
Yes, amazing.
Was gonna wear that again, but this time a lot better makeup, and we had a whole meal planned out and everything. But
That's
I was
so
like,
fun.
there's too much going on, and we're gonna have to change a lot. I'll just wear my backpack.
Perfect. Next time it is.
Oh, definitely.
Love it.
Well, thank you so
Yes,
much,
thank
Roger.
you,
Yeah, thanks for being
Well,
here.
Thank you
Well-
for sharing your story and helping us learn.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad to be here. I had
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yay.
Well, thank you.
Awesome.
Yes, well, you guys are amazing. You're amazing. I love you all.
Love you all.
Bye-bye. Till next time.
Bye-bye.
4 parents, 9 kids, 2 houses. Didn't really want to talk about this. 4 parents, 9 kids, I'm queer. One thing's clear, there's no dysfunction here. 4 parents, 9 kids, 2 houses. Didn't really want to talk about this. 4 parents, 9 kids, I'm queer. One thing's clear, there's no dysfunction here. Babe, hand me a